Another win for Trump on display, and I'm here for it. Absolutely here for it. But before we get started in this video, I just want to know, do you guys think that Jack Smith should repay all wasted taxpayer money and be put in prison? Comment down below what you guys think. I'm really interested in what you guys have to say about that. And, yeah, since we're on the topic of Jack Smith's election interference case was election interference itself. Okay, we're not going to act like it wasn't. Okay, that was most definitely election interference. And it just further shows the hypocrisy from the left. Shout out to the liberal hive mind, the abundant hypocrisy from the left. And yeah, so shout out to Charlie Kirk. Breaking: Jack Smith has filed a motion to dismiss all charges against President Trump. The lawfare lost. America has won. Okay, and here we have this on the screen. We zoomed in for you guys, so you guys can check this out. You can take a screenshot, take a picture, do what you got to do, and that's that. I'm going to scroll down now, and shout out to Liberocrat. Okay, wait till leftists hear that he was never a convicted felon, and it was only due to Democrats' lawfare that they temporarily got to label him as one. Let the triggered post from the left commence in 3, 2, 1. What do you guys have to say about that? So there's that. Shout out to Charlie Kirk. Shout out to the King Squad, family, and the King Squad. At least you guys are the bomb.com, and you guys are awesome. I appreciate you guys, and don't let anybody tell you any different. Be sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe. I hope everybody's drinking their water, making their money legally, all that great stuff. No, this is not financial advice. Let's get into our first clip here. Shout out to Fox News.
All right, I think Carrie Urban's joining us now, John, Fox News legal editor. Okay. Carrie, your thoughts?
Yeah, this was the right decision by the Department of Justice. As has been mentioned, we were expecting this, but this is because of DOJ's long-standing policy about not indicting/prosecuting a sitting president. And it looks like that Jack Smith's team did, in fact, seek the guidance of DOJ's Office of Legal Counsel, which is like the general counsel for the Department of Justice, in asking for these cases, the indictment to be dismissed, and OLC concluded that the prohibition on the federal indictment of a sitting president is, quote, categorical. And so that's why we knew this was coming. The Department of Justice made the right decision here following longstanding policy, and also not just the policy, but it's also in the best interest of the country, given Donald Trump's resounding win just recently.
Carrie, we knew that this was going to happen, so it's no surprise, but it is rather interesting to note that after all of this money that was spent, out of all of this time that was spent, all of the prosecutors and the attorneys that Smith had working for his office on these two cases, that it just gets summarily dropped because of two things: the Supreme Court decision about immunity and the fact that a majority of Americans, more than 76 million, said they like Donald Trump. They don't care what he's accused of doing. They wanted him to be president.
But your question gets to the wisdom of even bringing this case in the first place. You have the January 6th cases, you have the classified documents cases. I've said this many times on air. Just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should. And there are all kinds of things that a prosecutor weighs. There are all kinds of things that an attorney general weighs. It's a lot more gray than people realize. Yes, you balance the law, but you also balance what is fair, and you also balance what is good for the health of a nation. When you are coming at a former sitting president and the possible future president, you have to be so incredibly careful, and you better hope, and your case, I should say, better be lock solid. I mean, there's no chance of it getting overturned. There's no novel legal theories, none of that. And in the January 6 cases, that just wasn't true. They were bringing untested legal theories. In other words, they were bringing the law against Donald Trump in a way that it had not been applied before. The Supreme Court addressed actually an aspect of the law that they were attempting to bring against both Donald Trump and all the January 6 defendants. And the Supreme Court said, hey, look, this law that you're using against Trump and these defendants, it's not a blank check that you can kind of insert and write into what you want it to be. And that happened in June. Then you had the Supreme Court immunity decision. And so, again, while, yes, to your point, $50+ million was spent, the reality is it didn't have to happen in the first place. And that's, going to be something debated, I think, by historians for a long time.
Carrie, thank you. Please do stay with us. Jonathan Turley going to jump into the conversation now. The breaking news that Special Counsel Jack Smith has asked the judge to dismiss this Trump D.C. case. Jonathan, also adding to this from our own Jake Gibson, that the Special Counsel, Jack Smith's team, also sought the guidance of the DOJ's Office of Legal Counsel, the OLC, concluded that the prohibition on the federal indictment of a sitting president is categorical. Jonathan, your reaction to the news?
Well, this is what we expected. I wrote over a year ago that there was a good chance Jack Smith would never see the inside of a courtroom for a trial in this case. it made this election the largest effective jury verdict in history by reelecting Donald Trump. The special counsel found himself at odds with his own department's longstanding policy against the prosecution of a sitting president. But Smith did not go quietly into that night. I expect that he did get a lot of different opinions, hoping for the right one. But the OLC, this office that handles such questions, has long taken this position. So it would be doubtful that they would change it here. But, you know, Smith had a sort of a gratuitous end to his term. You know, he pushed not only for a trial before the election, and he pushed for months for that, but he also released damaging information before the election, something that many people saw as an effort to influence the election. Smith knew that if Trump won, he was out of a job. And this release of the information was entirely unnecessary. The judge admitted that it was procedurally irregular, but she went along with it. And I think that that did tarnish his position, and certainly in history, because he didn't have to do that. He had become so absolutely fixated on trying Trump before the election that he lost credibility, I think, with the courts. He went up to the Supreme Court. They didn't accept that that was the overriding consideration in looking at these legal issues. I think it's also very important to remember that Smith's case was riddled with constitutional problems. You know, when the Supreme Court reached its immunity decision, it was clear that he would have to pare down his indictment. He really didn't do it to the degree he needed to do. He took a very minimalist approach. He removed a few references, a few witnesses that stemmed from the first Trump presidency, but he largely just repackaged it. And some of us said that we thought that it was not enough, that if he ever did go to trial, he could be reversed just on that basis.
Absolutely love to see it. And, you know, with Jack Smith filing a motion to dismiss of the charges and dropping the election interference case, the Democrats are admitting defeat, okay? They're caving in. Everything that they tried to sit here and do to sabotage Trump, karma is a real thing, you know. Okay, or at least, you know, you do bad, treat people how you want to be treated. And they certainly did not follow that principle of life at all. They sat here and tried to sabotage Trump, and now look who got sabotaged, themselves. All right, now Jack Smith has to do stuff like this. So that's that. Another few select, well, not a few people, but some more names that we want to see be held accountable and be dealt with is Letitia James. Who else? Alvin Bragg, all the corrupt judges, everybody who sat here and tried to legally sabotage Trump, okay? Who else? Fani Willis. I haven't really kept up with what's going on with her, but yeah, if she hasn't been taken care of, yes, handle Fani Willis as well too. So that's that. We're going to get into our next clip here. Shout out to Benny Johnson, and let's see what some of these comments are saying. So make sure my audio is good. Cool. So Smith owes the U.S. taxpayer over $50 million. Wow. The trillions of dollars the Pentagon can't account for should be returned to us as well. Interesting stuff there. Free the J6 political prisoners. And some more other people are saying, who else is still enjoying the meltdown of the lefties? I certainly am. Comment down below if you're enjoying the meltdown of the lefties. And shout out to our guy, Benny Johnson here. I will give my thoughts and commentary periodically throughout the video, more so on the back end. Let's go.
And predict this moment. We're gonna win some program, but at the beginning to really consider how Donald Trump was able to look into the future and predict this moment.
We're gonna win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more. We're going to win so much.
We're going to win so much that
absolutely love Trump's attitude, okay? And, you know, just further shows why he's elected and not Ku Klux Kamala Harris, all right? You know, she does not have that attitude, not that spirit. The Democrats really don't move like that. Oh, we're winners. You know, granted, she would say, and one thing we always do is we always win. Well, you didn't win this one. Thank God at that. But, yeah, you know, they don't have that winning attitude. They just want handouts all day. You know, feed me, help me, give me money. Like, what? You know, put the work in. Make something of yourself, and help the people that actually do put the work in. All right, but I digress. Let's get further on into the video.
Jack Smith's own special counsel, with the express and sole role in this election, which was putting President Trump in prison, has now just dismissed all charges against Donald Trump. Boom, baby! Ooh. It's officially freaking over. Sheesh. The fat lady has sung. Jack Smith filed a motion to dismiss all of his charges against President Trump. Democrat lawfare has officially failed. As a result of the election, defendant Donald Trump will be inaugurated in January 20. It has long been the position of the Department of Justice. The United States Constitution forbids federal indictment and subsequent criminal prosecution of a sitting president. Department in the country has never faced circumstances here. The federal indictment, private citizen, blah, 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 turn into blah, 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 blah. Who cares? Shut up. Read the headlines. Special counsel Jack Smith drops election subversion case against Donald Trump. Jack Smith seeks dismissal of charges against Trump in D.C. election case. Jack Smith filed to drop J6 charges. It's over. It's over. The political persecution of Donald Trump has officially now failed. We will not forget what they tried to accomplish. They tried to destroy President Trump. They tried to put Trump in jail for the rest of his life for running for president. That was his crime. Donald Trump said we should have free and fair elections in this country, and I want to run for president. And for that, they tried to kill him. They wanted him to die in prison. And know this, that if Donald Trump hadn't have won, if we hadn't have collectively said that that's not what we do here in this country, and we're not Marxists, you're allowed to have free speech. You're allowed to object to elections in this country. You're allowed to say march peacefully and patriotically. That's not a crime. If we hadn't have put Donald Trump back in the chair in the White House, he would have been sentenced to the rest of his life. They had him already in New York.
I just got to say here, too, it is just amazing to me how somebody could still be a Democrat after this election. The Democrats really showed who they are with this election, with the amount of election interference that they pulled. It's just absolutely just insane. Okay. And then to even, make a chunk of Trump's ear go kaboom, so much so that they tried assassinating him. They couldn't do it financially. They couldn't do it politically. And then so they were like, all right, well, screw it. So where's the rifle at? Like, what? How do you still be a Democrat after all this? Like, how do you, what? That is just mind-boggling to me, okay? But let's get on with the video.
On fake charges, but nonetheless, they were ready to sentence, and that Trump-hating judge was ready to put Donald Trump in Rikers Island. They were about to do it. They were this close. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end, by the way.
They were so desperate.
Notable, Smith emphasizes that the case must be dismissed, but not necessarily with prejudice, meaning that they could theoretically be brought back after Trump leaves office. Oh, wow. So they're still trying to sneak one in there. It's over. Jack Smith has moved to dismiss the January 6 cases against Donald Trump. Foregoing reasons, the government specifically moves under federal rule criminal procedure to dismiss without prejudice the superseding indictment. Julie Kelly noting this dismissal without prejudice. In a final act of partisanship and poor legal judgment, Jack Smith dismisses the J6 case without prejudice to keep alive Trump haters' hope that the garbage case will somehow be resurrected when he leaves office. He's such a dirtbag. Mike Davis saying the best is yet to come for Jack Smith. Mike Davis saying Jack Smith and his office must face severe legal and political and financial consequences for their blatant lawfare and election interference. This includes federal criminal probe and conspiracy against rights under 18 U.S. Section 241. Ooh, baby. You tried. At least you tried. Now it's in the trash. Tom Cotton sounding off. Of course, this is news that just broke seconds ago. So the reactions are rolling in. Jack Smith cases will be remembered as a dark chapter of weaponization. They should never have been brought. Our elections are decided by voters, not by fanatical, deranged, liberal lawyers like Jack Smith, who has been humiliated again and again and again before the Supreme Court. The humiliation continues, ladies and gentlemen. This is the breaking news shot of Jack Smith's office when they decided to drop these cases.
That opposition, Donald J. Trump is now president of the United States.
I'm sorry, where are we going?
John, I'll jump in here. We've got some breaking news out of D.C. David Spunt reporting right now. Special counsel Jack Smith is seeking to dismiss the Trump election interference case in Washington, D.C. We should note that this was expected. We've been reporting for a few weeks now that this would happen since the DOJ cannot prosecute a sitting president. Today, this news brings us one step closer to this case formally being dropped. The judge is going to need approval for this before anything is officially dismissed, as David's reporting, and that could come as soon as today. I believe David Spunt is up now. He's got this news for us. David.
Well, hey, Sandra, after almost 2 years of this Jack Smith saga, things seem to be ending for him. We just need the judge to sign off on it. After thousands of pages and hundreds of hours of interviews, it comes down to just 6 pages. Jack Smith, the special counsel, asking Judge Tanya Chutkan to dismiss this superseding indictment. This is the election interference case in Washington, D.C., where Donald Trump was charged with trying to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election. Ultimately, Smith says that DOJ does not prosecute sitting presidents. This never went to trial. It was supposed to go to trial earlier this year. That never happened. So he's asking to dismiss this case. Separately, we're waiting to see if and how he's asking to move forward in the documents case in Florida. Now, you may say that case was dismissed this summer, and that's true. It was dismissed this summer. However, Jack Smith, at the time, he didn't know Donald Trump was going to win, and he filed an appeal with the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals in Atlanta. We're told that he's also going to be filing something soon, winding down that case as well. So as of now, these cases are not officially dropped yet, but Smith is asking Judge Chutkan, who's expected to move along with it, and say, okay, we're going to drop this case because we cannot prosecute a sitting president.
Shut up. Oh, I'm so sick of all this. Julie Kelly, this means both federal criminal cases against President Trump are over. Time for full investigations. This is what everybody is saying now. It is time for the full investigation as to what happened here, the sniveling from our corporate press over this, the crying has already begun.
Good afternoon. I'm Diane Macedo. We're coming on the air because ABC News has learned special counsel Jack Smith is officially moving to drop the January 6th election interference case against President-elect Trump. He's also expected to move to dismiss the classified documents case against Trump, possibly as early as today. Smith charged Trump last year with plotting to overturn the 2020 election and illegally storing classified documents at his Mar-a-Lago estate. But the Department of Justice had signaled it will not prosecute a sitting president, and Jack Smith has said he plans to step down as special counsel before Trump takes office. During the campaign, Trump also said he would fire Smith and his entire team upon returning to the White House.
Cry more. You can see him holding back tears. You can see him nearly holding back tears here on NBC News. A massive win for the rule of law is what Team Trump says here, sounding off, ladies and gentlemen, biting literally through a bite stick and through the salty sulfur tears of the NBC News crew, having to report that they have officially failed, hopefully forever. We won't forget. A great day for America. A lot to be thankful for this Thanksgiving. Here we go.
This is an NBC News special report. Here's Lester Holt.
Good day. We're coming on the air with breaking news about President-elect Donald Trump. The Justice Department special counsel Jack Smith just filed a motion to dismiss the federal criminal case against the president-elect over his efforts to overturn the 2020 election results. The news comes after NBC News learned the Justice Department had been planning to wind down its federal cases against Mr. Trump. It also comes as NBC News learned that Smith and his team plan to resign before Mr. Trump returns to the White House.
So there you have it. Shout out to Benny Johnson. All right. And yeah. Make sure my audio is perfectly fine. Good. And yeah, you know, it's a crazy time to be alive. You know, definitely don't forget what the Democrats did this election. I'm still blown away how anybody can still remain a liberal / Democrat and Decepticrat, Demon Rat, you know, and the names go on. you know, it's just wild. It is very wild. Okay. And, very, very, I personally see it as see them as very bitter people, really, you know, and it's just all over the place, you know, stopping at nothing. You know, they'll, you know, I'm not saying that, you know, either side is perfect or anything like that, or either side is without their issues. But as far as the Democrats go, oh my gosh, this was atrocious. And that's that. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. And let me know if you guys are still invited to Thanksgiving dinner with your family, you know, for supporting Trump, voting Trump. Okay. Comment down below, because I know a lot of people are like, you know, relationships ended, you know, brothers and sisters may not speak to each other anymore over this political stuff and everything like that. And that's completely, you know, understandable in various situations. But comment down below. Are you still invited to Thanksgiving dinner for voting Trump? Comment down below. I'm curious as to what you guys have to say. Shout out to the King Squad. Thank you to everyone who left a positive comment, shares these videos, subscribe to the channel, smash that like button. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.